Hey, what's going on, everyone? Anthony Cofrancesco here from Data Dive. And in today's office hours section, we're going to be talking all about the product scorecard, how to fill it out, how to answer the questions, and everything that you need to know. Now, we have two other videos that are linked down below. If you still want to see another example of someone filling out the product scorecard and explaining how to use it, you can see those links down below. Will be unlisted videos. With that being said, let's jump in. All right, everyone, welcome to Office Hours. Today, we're going to be going over the product scorecard. We did this for yesterday's North America Office Hours. So if someone wants to drop in the chat a random product here, otherwise, I think I'll just continue with the same one that we did for Office Hours last week for the European session. A few quick announcements that I want to make is that the Help Center we're uploading it today. Most of it's already uploaded, but you're going to actually see it live today. These are written guides which kind of walk through everything in Data Dive. So we've got these essentials done that shows every part about how to use the tool, and then the next are going to be these advanced modules. So every part is broken down into like a quick what is this part of the tool, and then step-by-step guide in terms of how to use it. And then at the bottom we have this anatomy of the dive box, so you can just see what all of the different things on the page mean. The other thing that's really exciting is, and this might not be for anyone in the group, but we are kicking off our affiliate program. So if you know anyone who has like an audience in the space, or they teach people how to sell on Amazon, they should definitely join that. We're kicking that off this Thursday. And so it's going to be pretty good. Yeah. With that being said, let's jump into it. I don't see anything in the chat here. I'm going to give everyone like another 30 seconds. Maybe today we're going to be going through the product scorecard. I guess I should start with this. The product scorecard is something that you can use to validate whether a product is good to sell. It's going to help you identify the risk level of launching a product. So if you're here and you're thinking about launching a product, drop that in the chat. Or maybe you launched a product in the past and you are thinking, man, that product launch did not go well. I would be really curious to put it through the product scorecard and see if we would have gotten a score from the scorecard that would have indicated, hey, maybe you shouldn't have launched this. So it doesn't have to be a product that you're launching. I would actually be really curious, does anyone have a product here that they've launched that didn't go well that we can go and do in the scorecard? Anyone? Anyone have one? Let's see, we got one thing in the chat here. Okay, so it looks like the time is, man, we just keep going through these time changes. Catherine, do you know if the time just changed? Is there a time zone change in Europe? I think we just got to get more on top of that. All right, anyone have a product? If not, we're just gonna have to jump into this, and I'll do the one from last week. All right, I gotta look up and see what we did last week for office hours, because I don't remember off the top of my head. Let's see, EU. Anxiety cards. Okay, everyone. Well, we're just gonna do anxiety cards again, but this time we're gonna do it from the lens of the product scorecard. So the good news, though, is that we don't need to start from scratch because we've already did this dive last week. So everything that we've done with excluding keywords, pulling the master keyword list, that's already been done. Remember, we did that last time. We pulled the dive. We have like 15 or so competitors here. We got rid of the branded keywords. It looks like we even added in a few outlier keywords. And now we're going to pretend that this is our first time we're launching a product into this niche. Let's go through and let's see what it would look like if we'd fill this out on the product scorecard. So like I said earlier, the product scorecard is, please don't look at the product scorecard and think that this is like solid truth, right? There's a lot of interpretation with this, and there's certain parts of this that are a case-by-case basis. But from a high level, when you fill out the product scorecard, what's going to happen in the end is it's going to give you a score. And after you've filled out enough of these product scorecards, you're going to be able to see a distribution. Some products are going to have a really high score, positive. Some products are going to have a really low score, negative. Some products are going to be just in the middle. And after you've done this for enough products, what you can do then is you can look at that whole group and say, okay, products that have the higher positive score are most likely going to be lower risk products to launch. Products that have a very high negative score are going to be much more high risk, much more competitive, much more cash intensive. And we'll go through that. So how the product scorecard works is it's just this little questionnaire. It's got 4 parts in it. And as you fill out each section, the score is going to get calculated. Now, up here at the top, right, each question has like a few different answers. And the question is either going to take you into a negative direction. Sure, Sam. It's either going to take you into a negative direction or it's going to take you into a positive direction, right? And so the positive scores, that's going to be something that's good, that's positive, lower risk. Things that are giving you a negative score are going to be higher risk. So let's go through these sections one by one. What I like to do, unfortunately, we got asked this yesterday in office hours. Even though Data Dive probably could fill out a lot of this stuff automatically, at this point right now, it doesn't, right? So if you don't want to have to go back and forth, you're going to have to reference, while answering these questions, you're going to have to reference other parts of the tool. So what I like to do is just click here and open up a new tab. That way I don't have to go back and forth in the same tab here. So let's start answering the questions here. I'm going to close these ones. And let's start first with traffic distribution. So the first question we have here is the number of keyword routes. And remember, a keyword route is two or more words, which is a unique way of describing a product. So what I'm going to do to find the number of keyword routes is I'm going to go over to the routes tab, which I believe I have open here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the checkbox just so I can see visually how many routes I have. So card, not good. Affirmation card is a good one. Positive affirmation card. Right, like this is too general. Stress relief, but mindfulness card is good. Affirmation card woman is good, right? Similar to an affirmation card, but it's an extra adjective, right? So it's going to be a separate route. Daily affirmation card is a good one. Self-care card is a good one. Meditation card is a good one. Card deck is too general. Affirmation card teen is a good one. Anxiety affirmation card. Self-affirmation card. Okay. Affirmation card deck is a good one. Affirmation deck is a good one. And then now we're going to get into a lot of single word routes. So it looks like here you can see it's counted. There's 61 total. It looks like I have 12 selected. So right now for this niche, it looks like I have 12 routes. So now I go back here, number of keyword routes, looks like 7 or more. So the reason this is a positive score is because the more routes that we have, the more different ways that people are searching for a product, that's an opportunity for us, because what we're banking on is that not everyone who's selling these affirmation anxiety cards knows how to use Amazon. They might not understand this SEO as well as we do. So if there's only one way of people searching for a product, that's going to be a really high risk, right? Because now there's only one group of keywords that I'm going to be able to put into my listing that I'm going to be able to optimize and try to focus on. Versus if there's 7 or more, that's really good because not all of these other sellers are going to be able to figure this out. So 250 points, we're looking good right now. The next thing that I have to answer is the distribution of route search volume. So what this is asking me is it's saying out of those keyword routes that you identified, the top 2 routes, the largest routes, what percentage of the search volume do they occupy, right? So for that, I can come back to the routes tab. And this isn't perfect, but it's pretty good. I was talking to our CTO yesterday. Later down the road, they're going to have a column that shows this number. But for right now, you'll have these columns on the right-hand side that show the distribution of search volume. And if you're not seeing them, just try zooming out. Sometimes, like if I'm at 100%, it'll get cut off. So I just zoom out a little bit. And what I'm going to do is for my top 2 routes, that's affirmation card and positive affirmation card, I'm just going to hover over this and you can see that this is 0.8 and this is 0.2, right? So between the both of these, it's going to make up a vast majority of the search volume. You can see that by the time we get down here to our 3rd strongest keyword, right? This is 0.1, 0.1, and then we drop down below 0.1. So this is like less than 20% of the overall search volume with routes 2, 3, and beyond. And then these ones are making up like much more than 70%. So what I do now is I come back here and I just answer that and I say, okay, top 2 routes it looks like they're making up, this is 0.8 and 0.2. It's basically all of the search volume is encapsulated within these keywords. So in this case, the top two routes are making up more than 90% of the search volume. And so again, why would this be something negative? Well, what we'd really love to see from an SEO, from a keyword perspective, is that if there was not only 12 different routes for the product, but if the distribution, all of these 12 keywords were getting a lot of search volume, right? Because then I'm not locked into, right? I'm not locked into just trying to be the top ranked person for affirmation card or positive affirmation card. I have another 10 opportunities down here that are driving significant search volume that can lead to sales. Unfortunately, what's happening though is the vast majority of searches are coming from these keywords here, and then there's a big drop off below that. So if this bar was a really wide distribution, that would be really positive. But in this case, it's actually going to be negative. So we're down to 150. The next thing I have to answer is the number of relevant keywords with a search volume larger than 150. So what I have to do for that is I come over to my master keyword list. I'm going to put in my search volume, and I'm going to change my filters to say, I'm going to make this a little larger now that I don't need to see that column anymore. So I'm going to say the search volume is greater than 150. So it's going to get rid of any of the low search volume terms. Right? And remember, a few, did I do this right? Greater than 150. Yeah. So that's, yeah. Wow. Sorry, I got to go back. Mess that up. Just wanted to make sure I saw that right. So out of the 72 relevant keywords for this niche, only 14 of them, as you're seeing here, have a search volume that's greater than 150. Right? So number of relevant keywords with search volume greater than 150, less than 30. More than 10, but less than 30. Whoops. So again, right, why is this negative? We would love to see, if we could wave our magic wand, we'd love to see the number of relevant keywords with a search volume greater than 150. We'd love to have a lot of different keywords that have a lot of search volume. The reality of this niche is that there's only about, as we can see here, there's only about 14 keywords that have a significant amount of search volume over 150, right? So these other 60 or so keywords that are showing up in this list, right? They're still valuable keywords, but they're just going to be very, very low search volume. Okay, so now we've answered this first part. It's leaving us with a positive score of 50, and that's what's showing up here on the right-hand side. The next thing I want to do is move on to profitability. Now, profitability is it's going to want you to fill out certain parts of the profits tool. First question, though, is one you don't need anything to answer. You can just think critically about it. So this is the product life cycle, and it's asking us how long this product is going to be relevant for. So if it's something that's like a fad product, something that's brand new, probably won't stick around and be super popular. It's going to be less than 12 months, going all the way up to 5 years. Now, when we're talking about the product life cycle, again, you have to think critically about this because, right, think about fidget spinners, for example, right? I can go and check out fidget spinners on Amazon right now. People still use fidget spinners. Fidget spinners are still being sold. But if you think about where fidget spinners are right now in relation to where they were like 4 or 5 years ago when they really, really blew up, right? Is it relevant? Are people talking about it? Is it a really big thing? And so the temptation can be to look at almost any product and be like, yeah, this is going to be relevant for more than 5 years. But we really have to think that, is it going to be relevant in the same context in 5 years? Is there going to be as much demand? And so this 5 years that we give, I really want to be cautious with that. We call these like legacy products, like things that are never, ever going to go away, that have been around for a very long time. I'm trying to think of a good example for this. But here's what I'm thinking about with these anxiety cards. I think like mental health, right? It's getting bigger and bigger. More and more people are talking about it. People are getting comfortable talking about it. So I think these anxiety cards, I don't think this is a fad. I don't think a year from now, no one's going to be talking about anxiety affirmations. Like obviously this stuff works. People are seeing it. It's going to get more and more popular. My question though is if the whole point of these cards is to, like help you reduce your anxiety, make you feel better about yourself, have a positive mindset. The thing I wonder is, okay, 5 years is a long, long time. In 5 years from now, is it more likely that you're going to be talking to something on your phone or maybe some kind of robot that's using a much more advanced version of ChatGPT to not just give you these random affirmations that are printed on a card, but it's actually like listening to you and it's going to talk to you to help you coach you through these situations. And so I know that might sound crazy and very abstract, but for that reason, I'm not going to click 5 years here. I'm going to be a little more conservative. And I would encourage you to think about, unless it's like a commodity product, right? You're selling like paper or, like dishwasher detergent, right? It's probably not going to, people probably aren't going to change their dishwashers in the next 5 years in a meaningful way. So those products I think are, okay, yeah, more than 5 years. Those are legacy products. But typically I would encourage you to be a little more conservative on that. I know that was a long explanation, but we get a lot of questions on product lifecycle. So the next thing is ROI, which is profit divided by net landed cost. And so, like I said earlier, if you go and use the profits tool, we're going to do a session on this probably at the beginning of next month. But you can go and fill all of this out, or you can go and choose. I'm trying to remember what product was ours. I think that's this one. Maybe I'm wrong. But you can click this populate button and bring in some of this information here. It's not going to give you the profit calculation yet. You have to import a few more items. But for right now, right, so eventually you could actually put in your whole, it'll give you all these metrics here. For right now, though, I'm not going to do the math on this. I'm just going to estimate. I'm going to go right in the middle here and say that the ROI on this product can be over 100%. I feel like based on the selling point of this and the cost to manufacture, maybe you could even get higher, like 150 or 200%. But that's all going to depend on your ability to source a product at a good price, get favorable terms. So we finished traffic distribution, we finished profitability. Now we're going to move on to potential. So potential is all about what steps can you take to improve the product beyond what's currently being done. So this is all about innovation. And so if you're just starting out selling, this might be a little bit beyond the scope of something that you would normally be looking at doing. But if you've been selling for a while, you've sold a few products and you started to see like, wow, when I first launched, I could have saved costs to my packaging. Or now you have a better understanding of how IP law works. Maybe you could have gotten patents. So with this, again, I want you to be conservative. Don't try to, get the positive points just for the sake of getting positive points. Be realistic with yourself and really try to make sure you understand each of these before selecting yes. So number one is, can you save costs on new packaging? This is actually an interesting one. We have a little bit more time, so I'm going to actually look at this a little more critically. I'm just going to open up one of these. I'm going to open up a few of these real quick. I can just click it. So can you save costs on packaging, right? I'm going to answer no for this. Everything's coming in a box right now. But I think a lot of what makes this product really good is that the packaging is going to look really good. So I would not, with this product, probably suggest trying to save money or trying to skimp on packaging. You can see this one comes in a cool metal case. Got a lot of really nice bold prints on the front. So you probably could save money on packaging, right? You probably could ship this in a poly bag. But if someone is spending like $15 to $30 for a deck of cards, I don't think it's going to really help the experience for them to get this thing in a plastic bag, right? You might be able to save some costs. Maybe if you printed it in like an envelope or something like that, you could make something that still looks good. Maybe you say that it's environmentally friendly, it's using less resources. So if you were really creative, you probably could optimize the packaging in some way. But for right now, I'm going to say, no, that's not possible. I'm just going to invest the money in the packaging. I'm going to make it look good. I'm going to try to do something that looks even better than what the current people have. Maybe even put some metallic print on it, make it look different. Okay, so the next one is fulfillment. Can you save on fulfillment and shipping costs? And again, I think just based on the physical size of the product, this is probably, I don't think you're going to figure out that any of these people are shipping this in a box that's way too large, larger than they need. I think you probably could make some strides to make this really small packaging, maybe make it fit in small and light, something like that. But for right now, for the purpose of this, because I don't have any clear ideas, I'm going to say, no, this is not possible. again, if you would work with the supplier, you'd work with your logistics team, and maybe you could figure out, yeah, we can actually save a little bit on fulfillment costs. Right now, I'm going to say no. For utility patent, I think probably no one is going to get a utility patent for anxiety cards, right? I think that's probably very unlikely just because, yeah, I just think that's very unlikely. A design patent, that is potentially something that you could actually get. Again, for me, because I don't have any specific ideas of my own, I'm going to say no, this is not possible. But again, if you were so inclined and you wanted to spend some more time here to figure out, hey, maybe there's some methodology with how these anxiety cards work, or there's like some format or some function behind these affirmation cards, maybe you could do that. I think what's really important to note about this section for potential is that by default, and you can change any of these metrics, you can change the weights to be whatever you want the points to be. I'm going to go back on that. But for each of these sections, it's only a maximum of, I think, like 50. Yeah, if you get these things, it's actually quite favorable. I guess what I would say is, like, before you decide to, hey, I'm going to go and try to get a utility or design patent, maybe fill out the rest of the scorecard and see if it's worth it. Fill out a few more scorecards and see if it's worth it. So for right now, I'm going to say no design patent. And then features, can you redesign the product and add features? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe, for any of these, the answer could be yes. I want to be very clear on that. The question is, how much work is going to be required to get it to that point? So could I redesign this and maybe have like, you could do a million things with this product. You could put a QR code on one of the cards and you scan it and it takes you to some interactive portion, or, there could be some extra guides, or you get some subscription to mental health counseling, or there's some video series that's helping you go through some of this stuff. All of these things, you could make a game out of it, right? All of these things could be possible. For right now, I'm just going to select no. And with that section is done, and I've gotten 0 points. So the last section here is for competitiveness. And competitiveness is normally where the score is going to go down, right? This is the final section, and this is all looking at the competitive landscape and what are the things that are going to make it more difficult to compete with, to sell. So the first question, and I'm going to find this by going to the master keyword list, which is right here. So let me clear this out real quick. Okay, so reviews. What it's asking me is how many of the top sellers have more than 1,000 reviews on their product. So what I can do here, I'll drag this down a little bit, and I'm just going to pin review count up to the top, so it's showing up here. And let's see what we have here. So we've got 1, 2, and remember, we're thinking about who has more than 1,000 reviews. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Might just be 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. Holy cow, is this wrong? Because these are like affirmation cards. Okay. So these aren't really like anxiety cards, but I guess this would be helpful, right? Like, it's just a religious premise from, this is going to help people with their anxiety who are religious. So that actually makes sense. I was thinking maybe this one shouldn't be included, but let's see. Not ranked for any of these keywords, but so I'm going to say for this, I probably could remove some of these that were just anxiety cards and get a little bit better of a score, but it looks like there's 8 people that have more than 1,000 reviews. So it looks like more than 7 out of the top 10 competitors have more than 1,000 reviews. So I think that's a good answer. That's correct, rather. Okay, next is Amazon SEO. So this is asking me, out of these competitors, right, how many of them have more than 60% of the relevant search volume? So remember, right, this metric here is telling me out of this list of 72 relevant keywords, this seller is ranked on page 1, looks like for 29% of them. So what I want to do is I want to look and see, how many of these sellers are ranked for more than 60% of the search volume in the MKL. So what I can do is I can either count them here, or I can just add them up here. So you can see here, I've got 1, 2, these people are red, 80+%. 1, 2, 3. These people are orange 60+%. So you can count them manually, or you can just do that. It also shows you up here. So this is 2 people that are more than 80% very strong, 3 more people that are more than 60%, which is strong. So in total, we have 5 people that are ranked on page 1 for more than 60% of the relevant search volume. So looks like we're at 6 or less. So that's positive. And I don't think I need to explain this, but like the reason that having more people with more than 1,000 reviews, it's just going to take you a long time to get to that point, right? We'd rather have like 1 or 2 people that has more than 1,000 reviews. That makes it a lot easier to compete. There are a lot of sellers. You can see that their average review count for this niche is 414, right? So it's not the highest it could possibly be. Like if you look at garlic presses, this might average review rate might be like 1,500 or 2,000. So just keep that in mind. More reviews are bad. We want less reviews. Okay, we got this one, Amazon SEO. That was pretty easy to fill out. Next one, this one's really easy as well. And again, for the people who are saying all of this information is inside Data Dive, can it just fill this stuff out automatically? Trust me, I hear you. I'm sure that's going to come eventually. I think they're just working on other things. So average price point, I just come here and I look at prices. Average price point is $14.95. So $14.95 is right under 15. And so why is a high selling price going to be a positive score and a low selling price is going to be a negative score? Well, it just means that if the price is under $15, that if something happens, logistics, right? Something happens in your supply chain with your supplier, prices go up, your marketing costs, PPC, whatever it might be, it's going to be a more risky situation, right? Having a more narrow margin to play around with. So that's why in this case, under $15, it's not the lowest price point, but that's going to give us minus 100 in terms of points. Okay, so 1P, this is asking us how many of the products are bought and sold by Amazon. So these are those 1P sellers. Let's see what you're going to see. You're going to see that in seller's country. So if anything here shows up as Amazon, which I don't believe there are any for this niche. So that looks to be a no. So less than 3 out of the top competitors are bought and sold by Amazon. That's good. Okay, visual content is all about images, and this is really a subjective score. Basically, what it's asking you is how many people have a good image gallery? That's really what the question should be. And so you're basically saying, do more than 5 out of the top 10 have great images, or do less than 5 out of the 10 have great images? And so to see that, I'm going to go to Deep Dive. So I open up Deep Dive here, and I click Collapse All. And let's take a look at these image galleries. Okay. I'm not hating this. It's pretty good. And then I think week 3, we are going to be spending all of our time talking about deep dive and image analysis. So I'm not going to go too much into this now, but that image gallery looks good. I mean, this one is like a little basic, but also the product is, the packaging is really nice. I think there's at least, look here, it's showing you all the cards. So could there be improvements to this image gallery? For sure, 100%, right? But by and large, I'm definitely seeing at least 5 image galleries here that look good, right? If all of the image galleries look like this, that it was just the box showing the cards, a Photoshop lifestyle, size and graphic, some examples of the cards. If everyone's gallery looked like this, I'd say, you know what? I think I can come in here and do a pretty good job here. I think I can optimize this. I could convert better, right? If everyone's gallery looked like this or like this or like this, I'd say, okay, there's some room for improvement. But it looks to be like there's at least 5 people here that have more than just product images. They have some infographics. They have some interesting design. They have some interesting concepts. You can see here is a testimonial graphic, or it looks like this is talking about using it for teammates. So this one looks good. This one looks good. This one looks good. This one, right? So there's at least 5 here. I won't be too hard on that. So I'm going to say more than 5 out of the top 10 competitors have great images in A+. I'd have to look at their page to also check out A+. Maybe, I think you have a minute here. So I'm going to just look and see out of these people who has A+ content. Because that might switch it around for me. If I look and I think, okay, these image galleries, let's see. At least, let's see. I don't want to speak too soon. That's pretty basic A plus. All right. Now this again, this also you have to think about your okay, so pretty basic A plus. You have to think about your strengths that you have as a team. This is the best one so far. That's pretty good. So there's like one that's good. Pretty basic. So everyone has A plus. Okay, so let me get back to my point here. Just want to see the rest of these. Yeah, that's pretty clean. Okay, so I'm still going to answer yes for this. I'm definitely going to still answer that more than 5 out of the top 10 competitors have great images in A+. Now, you have to think about what are the strengths that you have as a team, right? Everyone's going to answer this a little differently. So if I was answering this and I wanted to launch a product into this category, I feel confident that we would be able to create images and A+ content that look better than what anyone has here, right? But that's like a personal strength I have as myself and also the team that I work with. You might have a strength in IP or, designing new products, right? So just think about what those are. You can also change the weight differently, right? So if for me, I'm thinking, okay, 50 points isn't enough here. I could say if all the images were bad, I could say, wow, everyone has really bad images. I could say, hey, now I'm going to make this worth 100 points instead of just 50. But for right now, we're going to save that. You got to click enter. Okay. So Google Trends for this product are up and down, up or down. This also should show up in Deep Dive. I don't know why it's not bringing it in. Normally, if you put the hero keyword that says anxiety cards, it should pull this in. So I'm just going to go really quick and let me see if I can just find Google. I guess I'm not sharing my screen. Hold on. Again, this should come in through Data Dive automatically. So I think that it's just, it's just messing with, it's just getting a little messed up. I'm going to look at the past 12 months. Okay, so it looks all about flat, right? Up and down. It's not anything crazy. So yeah, normally this will show up here. I don't know why it's not showing up on mine. I think it's just a little glitch, but I'm going to say Google Trends are flat. Okay, seasonality. This is just asking, right? More seasonal a product is, it's just going to be a little more risky. You're going to have some additional challenges to think of. This product for sure can be sold all year round. And you can just look at these. It's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think much more explanation is needed there. And then, okay, variations. So it's asking me how many of the competitors have variations. I can see that inside Deep Dive. Just go to the expanded, and I can see variations. So this one, they have like critical thinking, emotional intelligence. So there's one with variations, 2 with variations. You can see here, 3. Okay, so it looks like only 3 have variations. So now I say 3 or less, right? More variations just mean it's more mature and established space, right? So if there's fewer people who are selling the variations, then that is potential. That's an opportunity for me. Because now I could come in and I could have my own different variations of card decks, occupy that top line banner, with 3 or more products. I can build out a storefront, make it look like a more reputable brand. Okay, so the next one here is major brands. So this is asking us how many of these products are sold in retail and have large branded search. So I can look here in my outlier keywords and I can see, are there any keywords that I took out that were like really large branded search terms? Like if I saw Anthony's anxiety cards and it was getting like 10,000 searches a month and the whole niche is only getting 20,000, and I'd be like, wow, this brand is getting a ton of search volume just by itself. I can look over in outliers as well and check that. But I don't think there's a lot of branded search term. I don't think, I would have to go and look and see. You could Google each of these brand names and see if any of these are sold in any kind of retail stores, but I'm just going to guess for this one based on what I'm seeing. I don't see a lot of branded search. Yeah, I don't see like any big branded search names here. So I'm just going to say less than 3 are sold in retail stores or have large branded search. And then developed niche. This is all about people selling bundles or multi-pack. In this category, that's not really relevant. You're just getting the card deck. It's not like you're getting a card deck with, like a fitness band. So we're going to say that's less than 3 of the top 10 competitors have multi-packs. And then the last one, we're going to answer from going to listing builder. It's just asking how many of the top sellers have exact keywords, 3 or more exact keywords in the title. So what I do here to see that is I come to the listing builder. I go to Battle of the Listings, and I'm going to look at title. And I want to put my search volume up at the top. And what I'm going to ask myself is not looking at my title. That's what I have filled in right now. I'm going to look at everyone else, and I'm going to see, right, how many of the competitors have 3 or more top exact keywords in their title. So these are the top keywords by search volume. I could also look at ranking juice. And I want to see how many of these sellers have like more than 3 of these top keywords in their title. So this person, it looks like they have 1 of the exact matches. This looks like only 1. This person has 1, 2, 3. So there's 1 seller that has 3 exact matches in their title. This one has 1, 2, just 2. So I'm not going to count him. Looks like that one has some exact plurals. It's just 1. So it looks like just 1 person so far. Looks like maybe 2. There's 1 exact match. So that looks like 3. Oh, it's only 2. So it looks like only 1 seller really has exact matches in their title, right? So does that all make sense, right? I'm just looking to see here, out of all the people selling in their title, who actually has exact matches of these keywords. It looks like just this 1 person. So this one at 1, 2, 3. And the reason, so this is going to be less than 4 have exact matches in their title. And so the reason this is an opportunity here is because, again, if I were to go into garlic press, and there's 10 different ways that people are searching for garlic press, right? If I go to the listing builder and I go to Battle of the Titles, what I'm going to see is that for basically all of the top 10 sellers, everyone's going to have exact matches all throughout their title. Let me see if I can show you real quick. Well, yeah, I think it would be cool to show you in a second. Just so you can visually see the difference, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A. Let's do garlic press. And we'll do the EU. So let's see. If I go to the listing builder, I go, maybe I'm wrong. But you can see here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, and then there's going to be more, 4, 5. Right, 1, 2, 3. 4. Right, so I could just keep going. I'm going to have to go further down the list, but a lot of exact matches in the title here, right? I can come all the way across here and see more and more and more and more and more. Versus over on this list, right? It's like just this seller who's pretty well indexed. Everyone else is not really. So with that being said, now we have finished the section for competitiveness rather, and that is actually giving us a positive score of 250 points. So where does that leave us in the end? That leaves us with a score of 400. So what do you do with this information in the end? Is this a good product to launch? Is it a bad product to launch? Well, in order to answer that, we'd have to look at all of our scores in total, right? So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to go back to my niche pipeline, and I'm going to show you. So let's see here. I'm going to go by date. Most recent research. I don't know why this one's not showing up here, but what we can remember is that our score is 400, and so this is the one that we did yesterday for Asia Pacific office hours. And you can see that the score is 250. So what this is going to indicate to me is that right, so a positive score of 200. Wait, am I getting that right? Yeah. Oh, I guess this didn't calculate earlier. It's not a score of 400. It's I'm getting this right. Earlier this said 200. What did I mess up? 100, 100. I think this isn't calculating. Oh, no, it is. Okay, so the overall score is 200. So it's almost the exact same as we did yesterday. Okay. Hold on, I just want to check one more thing. Yeah, so this is 250. This one's 200. So what I'll say is that, like, I've done some products where the score is 400 positive. I've done some products where the score is 400 negative. And so that's kind of what I was saying at the end is after you filled out a bunch of these, then you just look at, okay, here's my products with the largest positive score, right? And you can see that this NA, that's the putting mirror, and then the anxiety cards is a little bit lower. So the putting mirror, and I would agree with this analysis, that the putting mirror that we looked at yesterday in North America office hours is a little bit better of an opportunity than the anxiety card, I think, just based on competition. And so you can see now we can start to get I should probably close this so no one's going to look and see, oh, what are these other, okay, you're not going to be able to copy that first product because I'm very specific when I'm doing these dives. I'm not putting in any descriptors that are like too descriptive. So you won't know what this hand cleaner is, but this was a good one.